welcome to the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie, powered in part by Classic of Denton.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for being here on the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie. You guys keep really warm outside. It's getting chilly, and I am going to be wearing this jacket all winter because I'm always cold, and it's cold here in the office, and so y'all get used to it. So today we have Charles Burkett with us. Thank you so much, Charles, for joining us.
Not a problem.
And we're going to talk about all the fun stuff that you do. So thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thank you for asking. That was awesome. I'm really excited, actually. First time I've seen this side of it.
Yeah.
So really excited
it's
about
the flip
this.
side of Denton, y'all.
I know, right?
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, a little bit about me. Of course, me and my wife been living here in Denton for, and she's been here since college, so it just never left. And I think that's a lot of people. They just come in, never leave. I've been in and out. Grew up around Louisville, so I graduated from Marcus High School in '93. So I've been around here for a while, and around this area. And I remember always coming up here and hanging out and hanging up out at Fry Street and things like that. Even when just different stuff. But me and my wife have been married for now coming up on 5 years.
Nice.
Here in March it'll be 5 years. So we still got some ways to go, but then we just had have a little boy.
We have the joy.
We now have the little traveler. So nice. We've nicknamed him. So I'm gonna be running around with him a bit and hopefully see some different things about that as well.
He's going to open up a whole new world to you too.
I know it's going to be awesome, and of course he's at home with mom. So, but his name is Jackson.
Hi, Jackson.
Say hi. Say hi to Dad. But yeah, just a lot of different stuff going on here, and just been doing life, for a while here in Denton, and just seen this place grow. So, but pretty much I'm going to school, doing stuff, and I went to school here for a little while at UNT. I'm actually going back to UNT hopefully in the fall. So.
Nice.
Or in the spring, excuse me. It is the fall.
Yeah, we're kind of confused right now.
I lost my well, it's Texas, so the weather, and we just don't know what we're doing. But going back to UNT here in the spring and going to do my media arts degree and continue that.
Nice.
So stuff like this is always interesting for me. So
well, very awesome. I know that even though you have your blog or your blogcast going on, that you have new activities taking over your life, but you're adjusting, and so you're gonna talk about the other side, which is the Denton Traveler.
Yeah. So actually, I'm right now. I'm in the middle of actually kind of revamping that whole idea. And kind of how I'm going to go about it a little bit. Still going to keep that same kind of vibe to it, everything else, but hopefully expand out a little bit as far as what it's doing, what the really focus is. It's more of widening the focus, which is good. And so it'll bring a lot of, what I love about Denton. So, everything from just how things have changed, new things coming in, things like that, and when, writing stuff about all the different interesting, restaurants, bars, shopping places. I don't know why, I actually walk around here on the square and just love seeing all the different changes that have taken place.
Yes, we've had quite a few.
God,
so for those of you that don't know, the Denton Traveler is a blogcast.
I refer to it as a blogcast, and the reason I say that is because it's it not only has that blog feature, but it also I did a podcast in the past, and hopefully getting that back up and running. But just stuff like this, I enjoy talking about places that are coming, different places also just out there that are, it's more about that feeling of Denton.
And it's a very unique feeling here.
It is. And I I had a lot of things that I was like, man, because I went places and did things. And I was like, man, this would be great here in Denton. And then I started thinking about it, oh man, I love, like the feeling of, Oak Street or East Side or, some of those places. And man, I love it over here. I think this idea would work great in this city or this city. But once I started thinking about it, I was like, well, I don't want another Oak Street, but I want that same feeling. And I started saying, well, why not find places that have that same feeling, that are already there and established, where I'm going. And so I started running around all these different small cities, things like that, and finding these places, and was like, this is really a lot like Denton. I used to have another blog that's now gone. It's called Denton City Nights, and I was doing a lot about just the nightlife and things like that, music scene, everything else, just here in Denton. And I really felt kind of squelched about it. And I wanted more, and I wanted to expand that idea. And so that's when I thought about the Denton Traveler. I was like, well, that way I can do, if I feel like doing something about Denton, I can. But if I feel like, well, I want to, this place is really great, and I really want people that, that really like the idea of Denton, they can go here as well, and that way
do a crossover, so to speak.
Exactly. And so there's that feeling of, well, I can go here and go out that way. And that's why I loved a lot of the things that are going on here, but also that are going on other places and just different stuff that I've seen as
We have
well.
a lot of growth here. And, I mean, growth here in Denton is inevitably nonstop. I mean, it really is. We're constantly growing. I've been in Denton for 12 years now, and when I got here, coming from Dallas, it was a shock. I'm not going to lie to you. I was in shock being here, and I was like, oh, my gosh, this is going to be really hard for me to get adjusted to. And now, it's like I can't get enough of Denton. And it's just you have to live here to experience that feeling. And it's funny how you say that when you start looking for places, you kind of want to have that feeling of Denton out in the real world.
Yeah.
And or in the outer world. I shouldn't say the real world. We're all in the real world.
The outer world of Denton.
Yeah.
And so I really was really thought about it. I was thinking, you know what, I really like that idea, like I said, and I went, you know what, and then when ultimately, kind of part of the big move was, I started thinking about it, and I started going places out. My family has some places and family out in the hill country, and I started finding a lot of the places out there, and I was like, man, I wish but then I started going, well, why can't I appreciate the things that are here, and find those places and find that kind of feel out here as well. And so that's what really brought me to where I was and went, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is my real passion for it is. I want to be able to show people that you can find a piece of, this feeling of Denton wherever you go. And Denton is great. I love Denton, but that's why I also like to keep it reined in to where I'm like, you know what, I love everything that's going on here as far as all the, you saw, really I saw John Williams bring in Oak Street, East Side. You saw, Ben Easley brought us our first growler bar, which I'm very happy about as well. So a little bit of a for the Bearded Monk was just great. And he does a show here, so he does on Fridays. You can always come Friday and get beer.
That's the main focus.
Exactly. But, that whole feeling of Denton really expanded out with a lot of those guys and that whole feeling of, of what Denton was about and that whole community atmosphere as well. I think, this has just brought a lot of that to the square and to the city as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know that, like I said, it's been rapid growth that I've seen here, and you get really excited. You get really excited to share you're Denton with the rest of the, the world, your family, your friends, people come in from out of town. You want to be able to say, or if somebody asks you, hey, I'm going to be in Denton. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to Denton. What's the best place to eat? And, I see them on Facebook. I don't want a mainstream restaurant. What's the best place to go, do in Denton? And you start thinking of all the places and you're like, well, they're all different. What kind of vibe do you want? So now you not only have to separate them by food category, but what kind of vibe?
What kind of food do you want? And do you want this or this? You want and it's so different. And that's what's awesome. Because if you go, I keep bringing up Oak Street and East Side just because they are so a representation and a staple. But it's a representation of how different the same type of something can be.
Yes. And it is.
It's a totally different vibe.
My favorite place here, hands down, is East Side. That's my second home. That's that's my backyard. But it's not that I'm opposed to going to Oak Street, but it's just a different. It's just a small, slight difference. Yeah. And it's the same owner.
Yeah. And it's so funny that, and then of course he ventured out into Dallas as well and went and did Dot's Hop House, and that has a totally different vibe. So it's like this, you still have that. I loved it because it did have that Denton vibe, and then you had that totally just that essence of Dallas mixed with Denton, which was great. But even here in Denton, you've got Oak Street, where I ask people. It's funny. I ask people and go, they ask me, where do you want to go? Or where should we go? Well, do you want to have a good conversation? Then go here. If you just want to sit, drink, and listen and sit back and watch people and watch the game or whatever, I'm going to tell you, go to East Side. That's a great place to go and catch a game. Whereas Oak Street, I feel a lot better off. You're going to pay attention to somebody more because there's not all the distractions. You can still people watch, which is awesome. But
it's a little cozier over there.
It is. It's got a more
it is. Like I feel like both of them are homey, but it's more cozy at Oak Street. And some people just want that specific feel during a specific time of weather. Even the weather plays a lot in our environment.
Oh god, the weather plays so much into it. And I love about Oak Street. I always people were like, describe Oak Street. And I was like, the Oak Street Draft House is like the Denton. It's like the Denton House Party is what it is. It encompasses that. That's exactly the way I feel when I go there. I'm like, oh, cool. It's like the Denton House Party, which is nice. But you can, you talk to so many different people. You see so many different types of people there, and that's what's awesome about Denton is you see so many different types of people. And that's the part I really was like, oh wow, this is awesome. And you see it just watching different. If you sit around here, you see it every time. You see the, you see a man in a suit right next to the guy, then the, in a flip-flops in a tank top, and you're like, okay. And it's great though. It's that great mix of people that make Denton what it is. So that's what I really want to, that's what I've always wanted to bring out in the Denton Traveler, and what I always was, really focused on there as far as, hey, I want people to know that Denton is it has such a robust culture.
Well, a lot of people think because we're too college town that we're going to be completely inundated, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people
we're not saying anything about the college kids. Okay,
no, not at all. But a lot of people think, Denton's a college town. You know what? You can go anywhere, and there's going to be a great mix of everybody. Yeah, and that's what I love about being in Denton. Obviously, there's. I'm a little bit older than you're.
Hey, so, I'm the same way. So,
but you go any place and it's a good mix of everyone. There's college kids, there's middle age, and then there's older people, and we're all there, and it's fine, and everybody's vibing together, and that's what I love about being here.
You get a good conversation going, and with whoever you're out with, or even
whoever you're sitting next
to. I've gotten in so many conversations of the people that I'm just sitting next to, because you've got those like long tables and everything, and you're like, okay, I got to sit somewhere. So you strike up a conversation. It's great. That's
I've met so many people that we were sitting next to them, and all of a sudden you're having a conversation about art, about music, about, oh, do you know this person?
Yeah.
And it's like you can never go anywhere and not see somebody you know. So it's just very familiar.
Exactly. And then, you know, in so many things around that are happening here, as far as just everywhere in the community has been just blowing up. As far as that's concerned, we see so many youth stuff too. It's oh god, you know, and people here in Denton wanting to really get out there, and I think it's you know, universally kind of start looking into different things that kind of pull us back into a local feel, which is great. So,
so when you go to your blogcast, or do you have a blog as well?
I do have a blog. So my website is just dentontraveler.com.
Okay.
And there it has a few of my podcasts and some of the blog posts that I've written right now. As far as what it has there, just about different places around here, around the area, that have either, a lot of it's been started by people from Denton, or that have gone out. Other places are things that I find that people in Denton would be interested in, that like, hey, I'm going on vacation out in this place. I have one that's about a bunch of, we went out one summer, we went to like 3 different, like, swimming holes.
Oh, nice.
It was great. So I was like, man, this, and one of them was definitely a place that was like, this feels like Denton and I can swim, which was great. It was so much fun. And so I really felt that vibe of Denton, same thing. And it was like, man, if people from Denton knew about this, they would be like, yeah, I would go there, you know? And that's what I was always, and yet again, that's where I always pull it back into is, you know, because I feel that, you know, even a lot of these students, they don't stay here. They tend to come here, and then once they're done with graduation, they're off, you know, but I've had a lot of people go, man, I wish this, you know, I wish there was a place, is this still open? Is this still open?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm, yeah, this is still open. And so they're looking for that feeling of Denton. And so I'm like, well, there's places in your own town that you can really find that'll do that. And I think the other piece of it is getting that local feel and feeling that local feeling as well. So.
Well, here's one of your comments. I'm
Oh, wow.
going to try to scroll through there.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Love sharing Denton with people.
I've never been here before.
Yeah. It's somewhat of a pride thing.
Yeah,
when you
it
live in
is.
Denton, we tend to be very proud of our city, and most people will be proud of their city. But there is a tight knit community here, which is really great, and you can watch it grow. And sometimes you even grow yourself because there's so many things going on. You can always be active in the community very easily here, which is great.
Yeah.
And so.
I mean, if you wait, I think if you wait a weekend, I think it's like a Denton rule that you have to have a festival every other weekend. I'm not sure. At least that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
The music here, the music scene is like amazing.
Yeah.
So you've got that, you know, and I just really enjoy a lot of the different music scenes. You know, we've seen a lot of it change here recently. The face of the Denton music scene has really been kind of morphing into a different style, which is great.
It is.
And just different places and different small, like, places you would never be like, let's have a house. Oh, house shows are big now.
They're big here, and a lot of stuff happens at the house shows. So,
Yeah.
you know, you would think, well, how does this happen? It's just a community. It
Yeah.
is just a community that we live in.
A lot of the guys, which another guy here, Joe Coffey, it does a show on here. He even was originally, a lot of his stuff started as a house show. All those guys that were with the comedy scene really started out in houses, just going, hey, we want to play. Let's go. And which was amazing. And that's that same kind of feeling of Denton. Hey, we need something. Let's do it. And I think that's another thing about Denton is we have this kind of, if we want something that's going to be that feel of Denton, they're going to start it, and it's going to happen. It's a matter of
It's
if
not
they have a passion for it,
Yeah.
they're going to go, we're going to create the space for it
Yeah.
if we have to.
And so many people here in the community are so willing to enable people to follow through
yeah.
with those things. You know, hey, I have this idea. Sure, do it here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very, very awesome of people, especially business owners, to open their doors. I know I've been very fortunate with the Lost Poet Lounge. You know, Jake opened the doors here for me here at DentonRadio.com, and then also Wine Squared, and then back in the day when we originated Lost Poet Lounge, it was Banter. So it was always a feeling of family and home, which is great. And so you kind of want to, with the Denton Traveler, I would imagine that you want to give your travelers or your people that are inquiring, you know, that familiarity to be like, hey, this is a little bit of home, but here you're going to venture out of Denton, and here's what it is. So how do you pick the places? Is it just like, okay?
I go there first. I don't just be like, okay. But honestly, it's a lot of, you know, I look for local places. I rarely will go for something that I see a lot of people talking about as far as that's concerned. You know, oh, this place and this place. And a lot of the travel blogs will say, go here. And the top one, I look for those places that haven't been mentioned a lot of times because I want, one, I like to, if it's good, I like to showcase the places that are the really hidden gems. The hidden places that are like, oh, I didn't even know this was here. I didn't even realize this was around, you know, and that's kind of, and it's the same thing. And because I feel that Denton is that hidden gem. If you've never been here, they need to come. You know, come to Denton, and we'll show you a good time. Trust me. One way or another, give us a couple of hours, and we'll show you a good time, and just how to have fun, and just and I think a lot of that vibe of Denton is getting out there, especially in this, you know, climate and everything else. It's like, you know, we have that. You know, I want to be around people. I want to be able to talk to people, and be able to understand them as well, and be able to go, okay, wait a minute, see your side of things, everything else. And that's what's great about Denton, and that's why I love some of the places I've been, is because they have that same feeling, that same atmosphere.
I think a lot of times when people come here, for whatever reason, whether it be to visit someone, or they're going to pass through, or they're coming to Denton because they've heard so many people talking about it, they are awesome. I think they're awesomely surprised. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun in Denton. I'm going to have to go back. I really like the way I mean, that town's really cool. I mean, it's not just a, you know, a college place. It isn't. There's so much to do here.
We've grown up. We have grown up. I mean, I've been here for years, probably about as long as you have, and seen, you know, I remember coming up here, and pretty much the only real nightlife was out on Fry Street. And that's it. And it was like, okay, that's great. Then I remember when actually the Loophole came out. They came into Denton, and they kind of opened the door here to this area. And it was like, oh, you're going up to the square. And so, and like everything about the square changed. Now, this is, you know, you still have Fry Street and all that area, but you also have the you know, square, and then just off the square and everything else.
Everything's different. Even from Fry Street to here. Obviously, everybody knows that it's a different vibe. Although Fry Street is also growing. Fry Street is also growing, and it's also changing and evolving. Even though they have a new, you know, all these new townhomes, apartments. Geared towards the college kids, there's new little restaurants that are starting to pop up there that are a little bit more grown up and stuff.
Like,
so,
ooh, you know, and and I've been to a few places out there. I know there's what is it, that Salada place? That was amazing. We love that place, and it's you know, I go with my wife, and we always are like, I want to go here.
Yeah,
and
I went
she
to
always
Taskies for the first time.
That's
about a week
little
ago.
Place.
Yeah, I was like, this is really cool.
It's kind of a small little. It feels like you're a hole in the wall, but it's not a hole. It's like that.
The cook.
It's great. It's like, oh my god, this is good food.
I liked it there.
And then you'd go out, you know, keep going this way, and you've got, you know, LSA, which they've done a whole lot for this whole scene with their music. Shoot, you see people just out here just sitting and listening to the music up front, you know, from not even there, but just it's coming out.
Yeah, you can usually hear them.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
So
it's great.
I could hear them a minute ago.
Out.
So it's always interesting to hear what they have. And
and
they've
then-
always got something going on as well.
And then you've got, and you've got so many artists and stuff that are really, really blowing up the scene. I'll shout out to like, Jesse Fry has been really pulling up that. Richard Gilbert is another songwriter that's just a great songwriter. He plays over at Barley and Board all the time.
Nice.
You can find him there too, which is awesome. And Barley and Board is another place that just really started to blow up. And then, you keep going down. You've got so many other restaurants and places here.
So you have a
Trust me,
lot
if you
to
want
write
it-
about.
I know. I got to catch up with that. But no, just so many different places. And, honestly, people are like, well, what? It's hard where do you want to go? My wife always looks at me and goes, well, where do you want to go to eat?
Yeah, well, that's
That's
a
the hardest
whole
question.
different show. That's a whole different show. That's a
I know,
forever
right?
question of any couple. And it's
It
like,
is.
well,
It's like,
you got to eliminate certain things.
well, what do you want?
Yeah.
So that's always a fun thing to do, and but also going to these smaller places,
The hidden
I
gems.
think really they're the big places, but honestly, try some of the local places that are right around you. I think that's a big thing here in Denton. That's one of the things I want Denton people to know is, hey, go to your local little places that are out and about in your neighborhood. If you're around some of the places and some of the best, I'm going to make a controversial statement about tacos. And I know.
That's
I
my
know,
area of expertise.
See, so now
let's hear it.
I'm gonna
hear
say
it.
the Denton Traveler has been to a lot of the different taco places up off of East McKinney. If you go up there, there's like a strip of like
You're on the right path.
4 or 5. I can't
Taqueria
remember.
Guanajuato.
See, I knew that was going to come up.
Yep.
That is probably one of my favorite places.
Although, I have to admit, when I saw the red truck at Austin Street,
Big Knife is the
Knife
Big Knife
tacos.
tacos. You got to get a Big Knife
Freddie
tacos.
and Estella have my heart now.
They do. Freddie and Estella are awesome. They're great people. They're some good people, and oh my gosh, they can make some good tacos.
They do something to
all
the
about their
tortillas, and
I'm telling you, I'm like, I don't think they'll ever give up their secret, and they'll be like, we'll go out of business. Just so many great places.
there
and
are
great
many
things.
great places, and I'll name a few of my favorite places that not very many people knew about, or it was just not close enough to the square, which is when I went in there, the Green Zatar. I absolutely love the Green Zatar. Their food is amazing. I feel like when I walk into the Green Zatar, I'm going to my aunt and uncle's house. They're
you go.
so lovable. It's a family-owned run business. I absolutely love their food is so clean and it's so great, and just I love that place. And it's not a mainstream place, and I'm like, go to the Green Zatar. If you like that type of food, then go there. It's amazing, and it's very quaint.
See, that's
great for a date night.
Hey, there you go. You need the date nights.
Yes.
So for the couples out there, just she's giving out some old advice, because I'll give mine. I'm always. I always like going a few places when I go out. I'm never like, oh, I'm just going to go to this one place.
And then go home.
Horrible.
No.
But we'll go. Shoot. I'm sorry.
There's
one of
one
the old places that I still love, and people, I've heard some things, and I'm like, no. I still go to Giuseppe's as Italian. Man, I just love.
Yep.
It's been a staple here in Denton for ages.
Yeah.
Love going there. And the Greenhouse is another place.
One of my favorite places in the summertime.
Oh, that they do some good summer dishes,
And
lighter stuff.
Not only that, but they usually have a $2 drink all summer long.
See?
A $2 margarita.
$2?
you cannot beat that.
You can't beat a $2 margarita.
And they're good. One of the other places that is a hidden gem for me is Khao-san Thai Kitchen.
Okay.
Right down from the Green Zatar, right there in the in University.
Now, see, I'm more with. I'm a Toyota fan.
Oh, are you?
So I am they have some good stuff too.
I really like the vibe at the Khao-san Kitchen. It's really neat. You walk in, it doesn't feel like Denton. it doesn't. So you walk in,
You're right.
you're like, whoa, I didn't know this was here. So when you get that reaction from me, it's really cool. Like I felt like that too when they Komodo Loco came in.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, they really flipped this place, and I love going there for their
that's
appetizers.
amazing. That's another amazing place. It's a hidden place. I mean,
Yes, it is.
But it's oddly enough, I thought, I don't know how this place is because where it was, the location. I was like, man, that's amazing. So, just all that. But we've seen so much. We're having much more coming. Shoot, you've got Razor Ranch that's coming out.
A lot of growth.
The Wells Fargo building's about to get a new restaurant as well.
I'm excited about that.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I cannot wait because I'm hoping that it's going to be more my age. So not that there's anything wrong with anyone else's, but I really want to go to a nice, mature place and be able to adult. To be an adult here. Let me rephrase that. I was thinking of dentoning and adult at the same time. I did not want to say adulting. No.
Don't do it.
That's not the word I wanted. But anyway, so there's so much we can go on forever and ever.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and try to wrap it up.
Yeah,
because
no kidding.
we could talk forever about all this stuff here.
I could.
So where do they find you online?
So you can find me online. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. My Instagram tends to be a little bit off as far as that's concerned. It's just look up the Denton Traveler.
Okay.
And normally you'll find it at facebook.com/Denton Traveler or at Denton Traveler.
Okay, so they can
follow
you.
Either Instagram or on Twitter is at Denton Traveler.
Okay.
So all my stuff, and go there.
And they're going to start looking for your reviews and your
definitely
write-ups and stuff.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of reviewing and everything, I know you had Gabriel on the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so that's, he's one that's really that whole idea. And that's the one part I watched and I commented on because I was so much like, wow, the amazing things he's doing.
Gabriel Killian is.
Yeah, that's it. Gabriel Killian.
He was here a few shows ago, and now he just posted about his new ambassadorship with UpVenture.
Yeah,
where you can now join in. If I haven't read the whole article, I did read most of it. So you can basically take pictures of where
join in with us.
Yeah,
join in with us
and stuff.
Take pictures and submit them and do everything
and get paid for it.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that whole idea, and I think he's bringing that idea of what I have to where other local places in other cities can get that local feel. So that's what's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that's really well. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, thank
Charles.
you so much for having me. We had so much fun.
Yeah, thank you.
So much fun.
I am so glad you made it here, and thank you for sharing all of your Denton knowledge with all of the places.
Love to do it.
So if you guys want to check out some of those places, great. And thank you for joining us. We will be here next week with another guest and an awesome Denton night on the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.